Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Suka Podcast. And if you're wondering, Luke, is it just you today? No, it is actually not. Sam is joining us a little bit late today. We had issues with Guinness. Oh, Sam, you're welcome to come in.
Hey, everybody.
It's Sam.
I'm back.
So we recently, today's episode is called, something around the lines of, we just shot a short film at a golf course. And it was amazing.
It was hot.
It was really hot. It was 86 degrees, extremely humid.
Oh, it was beaten down in the sun.
It felt like Florida in July. You know what they say, I felt like Florida in July.
Everybody's been saying it.
Everyone's been saying it.
Florida in July.
Florida in July. But the whole movie was not shot in the golf course. And we're going to be covering how we got this location. Sam's going to be covering that. I'm going to be covering what it was like shooting there. But it's going to be all about the golf course today. So this is a short film that we're working on called American Dreamers. It's not out yet. It'll be out in probably 4 weeks from when you see this episode. We're actually filming before we go shoot our next scene. So right after this, we are going to film the next scene. But this movie, which we're not going to give you the full details, that'll be in that separate episode. Don't be slimy. Hey, what did I tell you? Don't be slimy.
Hey, watch it, slime ball.
Hey, it's like Florida in July. Watch it, slime ball. So Sam and I worked on a golf course yesterday. Sam, you set this up. What was it like calling someone an owner of a golf course? And this golf course was called Blossom Trails by us.
Blossom Trails in Benton Harbor, Michigan.
The big BH.
Big BH. Some people might call it the Harbor. The Harbor.
The Harbor.
So when I called him originally, I thought that it would be a lot more difficult to get in contact with the owner. Because usually you would, when I've called places in the past, you talk to someone and then you talk to the owner. But I called and I go, hey, I was wondering, I've got a question for either a manager or the owner probably.
And we won't disclose any names because we're trying to figure out, we are young, we're trying to figure out who wants to be talked about. So the location was Blossom Trails, but we're not going to be saying Billie Jean, back my love.
Why would you tell them their name?
That's the name of the golf course owner.
It was Michael Jackson.
It was Michael Jackson. But yeah, keep going.
So I called her. I guess I called them, and there's multiple owners.
We revealed it.
So there's multiple owners, but I called the first time I called. I talked to a lady, and I was just like, "Hey, my friend and I are wanting to film a short film." And we were looking for a golf course to film at, and we thought that your golf course would be perfect. So she was just she was kind of worried at first that it was a YouTube video, because she was like, are you guys just going to be driving around the golf carts crazy and doing crazy stuff on the...
Well, we didn't. I'm laughing for another reason. Let me jump in here to keep this retention up for those viewers. Something funny is I sat on front of the golf course. I was shooting this movie on the golf course. On the golf cart, I would not fit on the entire golf course. That's impossible. Sat in front of the golf cart with my camera. And Race is our other actor. Sam's the main character. These two friends hanging out on a golf course, kind of talking like they're going to go steal something from someone. Don't want to give you all the details, but they're driving the golf cart and they're kind of bickering over, they're playing, whose ball are we playing? And I'm going back and forth sitting on the golf cart. We're just beelining through a hole. No one else is on the hole, but the golf course is set up weird. It's like a queue line.
Yeah.
So it feels like you're running into other ones while you're going. And there's these two guys are pulling up on us. We're like, all right, these people probably are who are these random kids filming on our golf course? These titans.
The old heads.
The old heads. They're always, this is our golf course. We golf here every Tuesday. What are you doing on here? But it was the owner, and it was so weird because they talked to us. They're like, what are you doing? We're like, filming.
I was like, I talked to you, and he's like, oh, you're the filmers, and then they drove away.
They go, who are you filming? To me, with the camera, filming Sam. I go, I'm filming them. And they're like, oh, okay. I think they're doing a little bit of the...
Yeah, something tells me they were a little high. I'm joking.
On life.
Yeah, high on life.
They seemed like maybe they were a little out of it because it didn't really make sense. Who are you filming? and then just drove away. Didn't need. Maybe they weren't. Maybe whatever. That's just what. And this.
I mean, they were nice, and especially on the phone, they were.
Yeah, it was good. The key to landing something is not giving all the details.
Yeah.
You don't say, I'm going to sit in front of your golf cart. I'm going to be there for 5 hours. You say, hey, we'll be there for a couple hours and film. It's not dishonesty. It's clever ingenuity.
It's called stretching the truth.
It's called stretching the truth. It's called limited truth. That's what I would say.
Limited truth.
But it was really fun. It was the hotness was like Florida in July.
It was beaming down.
Well, Sam was an actor.
Yeah.
So you weren't, just so they know, you weren't just in the background. You were also sitting out there in the sun.
Yeah. So not everyone, but Luke, Race, and I were all standing in the sun for a good 3 hours.
Oh, we got there around 3. We got there at 3:15, actually. I know, because we were 15 minutes late. My dad, who wrote, was there, but we have so much gear, and we did not eat anything. Yesterday, I ate a granola bar and a banana. Sam ate a granola bar. Yep. And a Bang energy drink.
The Bang energy drink, which I drank half of.
And we survived off of Sam's water bottle. Huge oversight. Okay, we took importance of the gear. We did not take importance of our health.
Of ourself.
And sleeping was rough last night.
Who would have guessed? Who knew it would be so hot in our rooms?
Well,
I don't even know if it was.
For me, it was kind of cold and then hot.
Oh, it's just pure hot.
Yeah. So filming on a golf course is interesting while you're capturing it because, in my mind, golf courses are usually surrounded by like trees or something to make it feel like it's like the Disneyland is dug up. There's mountains around Disneyland and Disney World. There's like huge, it's like 20 feet tall, so it feels like you're inside of there. So golf courses kind of do this by having trees. So it feels like you're in a different world. You're there. When you're in the golf course, you're thinking about golf. And vice versa, when you're outside of golf, you can't see in. So it's like you're kind of in this world. So trees kind of look garbage as a background, unless you have depth. Like if a tree's here in the middle and then a tree's far back there, that looks cool. But if there's just a line of trees, it just looks like a whole lot of green. So the key for me was capturing the blue sky with the actors and being able to see the action. But it was tricky because if you have ever shot with a camera, you know that shooting in broad daylight is miserable. Broad daylight means you're changing all your settings to make everything as dark as you can. For the camera nerds out here, you basically have to shoot in a high f-stop so you have a low enough shutter speed. Your shutter speed is basically the movement. So if like Sam when he was hitting a golf ball, if I had the shutter speed super high, it would look almost like unorganic movement. Yeah. So I have to keep that number low, which means that makes it brighter. The lower the shutter speed, the brighter the image. The higher the shutter speed, the darker. So I can't just raise my shutter speed to make a darker image. What the f-stop is your background blur. Think of it like that. Low f-stop, a 1.4 is what my favorite lens is to use. A 35mm lens is a 1.4. And you can't go if you go low, lower than that, it's like a pretty extreme lens, and barely any lenses even do that. You don't even want normal, like standard for filmmaking is like 2.4, 2.8, which I didn't even totally catch on to. I've always been trying to get as much blur as I can. But in this, I really went out of my comfort zone to just, okay, I need it darker. I'm not going to mess with the shutter speed. And I would just I went up to 14, 15 f-stop, which I never do. And that makes everything's in focus. So there's nothing really out of focus, which doesn't look super cinematic, but then you're not changing your shutter speed. So basically shooting in broad daylight, and this is when you can get this thing called an ND filter, which just darkens it. But the ND filter we had, which I was worried about using, I feel like it's not high enough quality that it could have been degrading the image. So maybe I should have tried it, and I might try in the future, but it's really hard to see the screen while you're shooting. It's so hard.
There's so many roadblocks. When it's broad daylight and it's hot, the camera starts to overheat.
The mics were overheating.
People start to overheat. Like, you're just sweating, you're lifting the camera, you're moving stuff around.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing things over and over. You're slowly, over time, getting more and more exhausted just because it's so hot.
And while this was happening, Sam has been an actor in every movie, the past 4. I'd say those are I've made 4 movies. Those are the 4 movies. And you've been an actor in all of them and a producer in 3. but also it's been more of a production coordinator.
Yeah.
It's like a weird, what I'm really just saying is I want to have Sam with me behind the camera and have other people act. As soon as you ask someone to start acting, I'd say 80% of your focus while you're filming is on that or more.
Yeah.
I'd say it's nearly impossible to remember 3 pages of the script, what you're supposed to be doing in the motion, where you're supposed to be standing, especially like I'm asking them to, something I've really been studying is Spielberg's cinematic composition. Where are you placing actors? Where are they moving? So like you'll see in the movie American Dreamers, one shot, and we could even, it might be too late to get the clips to show you guys, but you'll see it in the movie. You'll start on golf clubs. Sam's character walks up, picks the golf club out, and then we shift over to the right, and we see Sam and Race now playing golf in a totally different composition. So instead of cutting here and cutting here, it's you're moving. So you're moving, you're kind of slowly, it's like multiple shots in one take is kind of the goal. So, hey, Sam, walk here, then walk here. So what I'm basically getting at is how are you going to remember that, then your lines, and then also making sure the script's exactly right, or making sure like in an hour we have to go shoot this, or hey, we're running out of time, let's get moving on this. I think we could be so efficient.
Yeah, splitting
fully
that's
together.
Something that so this book I've been reading it's said a lot of like try as best as you can, even with a small cast and budget, to like set your job as one thing instead of being, if you're going 50%, you'll be able to tell that job is 50% because you have to, if you're splitting yourself 50% as one thing and then 50% as another, those areas can start to lack. And even with like a smaller team, trying to like make sure that you can be 100% in an area.
Yeah.
But that gets so tricky.
But I agree with that, but I don't agree with if you're to give 50%. Like I don't believe I'm doing a 50% directing job and 50%. I think I'm doing 110 both or higher in my mind. Obviously skill and that, but I'm giving more than enough effort in both categories in my mind. And I think for someone that's treating it as a job, that's completely true. I think in our case, we can make that instead of going 200% in one category, going 100.
Yeah.
Like in just changing the numbers so it's not like you're giving up this huge quality. Because even if it was like follow through on the script, okay, like there's a ton of little things like at the beginning, if you notice, Sam's picking the blueberry with his right hand, and at the end, he's picking it with his left hand. I didn't even notice that was going on.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm so worried about what's Mr. Port doing or what's Scott doing for this shot. I'm looking over here. And the actors, that's even like, all right, move your hands here. We don't even remember that maybe we have to go back and change it so it makes sense here. So there's all these little roadblocks that you're kind of running into when you see in post. So in these golf scenes, which is the main focus of this episode, there's a lot of times where like, this is a comedy movie. It's very comedic. It's funny. It's interesting. Both funny. Sam and Race are super funny. They can nail this. It's like, let's just go out here and you guys be funny. Turn on the mics and go. And we'll just cut to it. And that's probably the best way. Christopher Nolan, when he was shooting his first feature film, The Following, $6,000 budget, just basically paying for film. He held the camera the whole time and did handheld for 99% of it. He used one dolly shot.
Wow.
So it's like, are certain areas like, should we set up an over the shoulder shot here or should I just handheld this? It's like you can really you start to get into like directing styles, and in this golf scene it's shot, I'm still trying to find what is that style, and obviously I'm not going to find that. For most directors don't even know what their style is for like 30 years. So I need to be patient there, but you'll see there's little like cinematic composition, like start here, pan over, start here, pan over the shoulder. I'm not a big fan of shooting coverage at all. Another thing Christopher Nolan says, I've been studying him a lot this week, and Spielberg, is you shoot with one camera and you shoot it like it's meant to be. You don't shoot coverage and make the movie in post. You make the movie there and you clean it up in post is kind of my idea. I don't ever want to rely on going back and forth and back. I feel like that's lazy. There's no real heart in that.
Yeah.
All right, you know your lines, I know my lines. Let's sit across and across and shoot 2 cameras and go. It's like, okay, but there's no heart there. There's no, I don't have any, there's no, I'm trying to think of a word. It's like there's no plan. It looks like Akira Kurosawa said to never avert one's eyes. It's like the key to every shot is making sure what you are looking at is what the director and writer, more director, wants you to look at. So if I'm just cutting back and forth, there's no real, the director's like, I want you to listen, but I think film's a visual medium. You want to listen as you watch. So that got a little carried away from the golf, but I just blessed your ears a little bit.
Get blessed.
If you're a filmmaker, hopefully some of these things helped you. This is a fun episode. We're going to film a movie.
It's a short episode because we're going right after this, we're going to keep filming. Yeah. And that's really it.
And I want everyone, if you are looking to make a movie, the key to getting better is by watching movies and making movies. If you're interested and you live near us or are willing to come work with us, if you live far away, you know where to find us. Message us on Instagram.
I'll send you my address.
I'll send you. Hey, let's hang out. No, but seriously, if you want to make movies, feel free to ask. Reach out to us. We'd love to help with what we know. We'd love to have you help. We're serious about growing a community of like-minded filmmakers. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day.